After sitting quietly for a few minutes, lost in his own thoughts, Danny snaps back to reality when his therapist calls his name. She asks him to revisit the painful memory that brought him there, and Danny begins to recount the day he lost his daughter. He explains that he had taken Minnie to the park, and while she was playing, he let his attention wander for just a single moment. That brief distraction was enough. When he looked back, Minnie was gone without a trace. Danny's suspicions quickly fell on a man named Lyle who had been watching the children that day. Authorities arrested Lyle, but his lawyer argued that he was mentally unfit and claimed Lyle had no memory of what happened or where Minnie was. Years went by. Danny's marriage to his wife Vivian fell apart, but his grief never eased. After the therapy session ends, he looks through old photographs of Minnie and Vivian before heading out to meet his partner, Nix. The two detectives have received an anonymous tip about a robbery set to happen at a local bank. Nix points out that two other branches of the same bank were recently hit, but strangely, only one specific safety deposit box was stolen each time, often containing no money at all. Upon arrival, Danny and Nix join the surveillance team parked outside. Soon they notice a man named Dell, who seems oddly familiar to Danny. Dell sits beside a woman on a bench, comments on the heat, and the woman starts walking away while repeating his words. Moments later, Dell approaches officers guarding the bank, who allow him to pass without question. Sensing that Dell has accomplices, Danny follows him inside. An employee tries to stop him, but Danny discreetly swipes the man's keys and pretends he's there to open a safety deposit box. When the employee realizes his keys are missing, he leaves to search for them, giving Danny the chance to unlock the same numbered box stolen in the other robberies. Inside, he finds a photograph of Minnie with a handwritten note telling him to find Lev. Meanwhile, outside, the woman from earlier wanders the street still talking about the heat, removing her clothes and ignoring traffic signals. She causes a chain reaction crash that blocks the road. Inside, Dell says a single word to the bank receptionist, and she abruptly announces the bank is closing. Suddenly, the officers outside rush in, brandishing weapons and ordering everyone to leave. The receptionist heads straight for the targeted deposit box. Danny draws his gun and shouts for her to stop, but she doesn't react, as if she can't even see him. The armed men open fire, hitting Danny, but his bulletproof vest absorbs the impact. They escort the receptionist, now carrying the box, to an armored truck. Driving away, they soon hit the traffic jam caused by the heat-obsessed woman. The receptionist swerves to avoid her, crashes, and dies instantly. Dell arrives at the wreck, retrieves the deposit box, and places a bomb in the dead woman's hand. When Danny catches up, the device explodes, erasing all evidence. Danny spots Dell fleeing and gives chase, following him into an abandoned building. Upstairs, Danny encounters two fellow detectives, and together they find Dell on the roof. But when Dell claims they've got the wrong man, the two detectives suddenly turn their guns on Danny. Dell mentions Lyle, hinting that he knows something about Minnie. Danny demands answers, showing him the photo, but Dell realizes the box is empty. At that moment, Nix arrives with backup. Cornered, Dell tells the detectives to clean up, then leaps away. The two detectives shoot each other, and when Danny looks down to the street, Dell has vanished. Nix informs him that only one security guard survived the robbery, and that the guard claims to remember nothing, just like Lyle. Later that night, Danny reviews the case footage until Nix calls with a lead. They've traced the anonymous tipster's address. Danny goes to investigate and meets Diana, a psychic working with a large, muscular man. The man steps outside to wait on his motorcycle while Danny questions Diana, but she refuses to talk and urges him to leave, clearly frightened. Suddenly, someone approaches the man outside, and moments later he rides his bike straight through the shop, aiming to kill both Danny and Diana. They narrowly escape harm. When the man fails, he uses debris to end his own life. Realizing Diana is also a target, Danny takes her to the station. There, she confesses everything. Dell is a hypnotic, someone with psychic powers strong enough to control minds. She admits she has the same abilities, and that they were both once part of a secret government program called the Division. The agency initially claimed to help psychics, but their true aim was to weaponize them for political and military purposes. When Danny looks skeptical, Diana proves her point by taking control of Nix, making him sit down, cry, and then walk outside for a cigarette, all with just a few words. She explains that Dell was the Division's most powerful operative before going rogue. She was among those sent to stop him, but he escaped. To stay hidden, she left the agency and started a new life. life. When she heard about the robberies where no one could remember a thing, she immediately knew Dell was behind them. Outside the station, Dell spots Nix and quickly takes control of his mind. Moments later, Nick storms back inside, gun drawn, aiming straight at Danny and Diana. He refuses to listen to reason, forcing Danny to shoot him in the leg. Even injured, Nix attacks and the two struggle until Danny manages to cuff him to the cell bars. But Delrain's influence doesn't let Nix stop. He keeps fighting, straining against the cuffs until his wrists bleed. Just as he's about to break free, Diana steps in and shoots him in the head. Danny is furious, but Diana explains there was no saving him. This was the only way to release him from Delrain's control. With no way to explain the killing, Danny and Diana flee town. Soon, their faces are plastered all over the news as wanted fugitives. At a roadside diner, Danny admits he now believes Lyle's claim of having no memory, realizing Delrain must be tied to Minnie's disappearance. The moment is interrupted when the local sheriff walks in and recognizes them. Before he can draw his gun, Diana manipulates him into calling the station to report the fugitives heading in the opposite direction and even has him pay their bill. But before they can leave, the sheriff receives a radio call from Delrain, warning he's on his way. Outside, Delrain waits with two officers. Danny tells Diana to run while he distracts them, slipping toward the train tracks and using passing rail cars to conceal himself. Just when he thinks he's lost them, the landscape warps and folds around him. It's another illusion. Delrain appears with the officers, and the scene snaps back to normal. As the officers prepare to fire, a truck barrels through and hits them. It's Diana at the wheel. She and Danny speed away, heading for Mexico. On the way, she explains that hypnotics can shape what others see unless their target has a strong mental block. She suspects Danny has one, since she can't influence him, but Delrain can. At the border, a guard stops them, but Diana uses her powers to wave them through. Eventually, they visit Jeremiah, a former division associate with no powers but a rare mental resistance Delrain can still break. Jeremiah sends his cleaning lady to open the door, but when Danny enters alone, the cleaning lady pulls a gun. It's Diana under an illusion, having hidden the real woman away. Jeremiah explains that Delrain is chasing something called Project Domino, a division weapon capable of overriding even the strongest mental defenses. Delrain stole it, erased his own memory to keep its location secret, and left hidden clues tied to personal triggers. After being captured, a trigger reawakened his memory 6 weeks ago, prompting his escape. Jeremiah believes one of the bank deposit boxes holds the key. When Danny shows him the photo of Minnie he found in the box, Diana instantly grows suspicious. Jeremiah suddenly reveals himself to be Delrain in disguise and opens fire. Danny and Diana flee into a crowded street, but civilians under Delrain's control attack them. Danny fires into the air to scatter the crowd, then they knock a biker off his motorcycle, steal it, and speed through the city. Again, the world folds and distorts. Another illusion, but Diana snaps him out of it. A truck crashes into a building, debris raining down, forcing them to ditch the bike and run. They end up trapped in a dead-end alley, surrounded by cops under Delrain's sway. Danny focuses hard, remembering Diana's advice about his mental block, and engages in a battle of wills. Suddenly, the controlled officers turn on Delrain instead. As police take Delrain away, Danny is shaken. He's never had powers before, yet he clearly has training. Diana concludes his memory must have been wiped. They visit River, a hacker who once built the division's network. Searching records, River finds Danny's marine and police files, but no mention of a wife. Digging deeper, River uncovers that Danny's ex-wife, Vivian, is actually a division agent. Her location is encrypted, and cracking it will take time. While Diana showers, Danny gets a call from Delrain, who pushes into his mind and orders him to harm Diana. Danny resists, hanging up, but when he looks down, he's holding scissors he didn't remember picking up. He jams them into the wall and walks away, only to realize moments later they're still in his hand. Fighting the urge to strike, he's snapped out of it when Diana notices in a mirror and distracts him with a kiss. The two share an intimate moment before falling asleep, but Danny's dreams twist, his family memories blur, and Diana's face shifts into Vivian's. Slipping away, Danny checks River's computer and is shocked to see Vivian listed under Diana's file. She has been his real wife all along. The blonde woman in his memories was an implanted image. When he searches for Minnie, he's stunned to learn she is Project Domino, the child of two powerful hypnotics. Diana wakes and admits the truth. They both worked for the Division. When Minnie's immense abilities surfaced, the Division wanted to train her as their ultimate asset. Diana agreed, but Danny refused, kidnapping Minnie and erasing his own memories to protect her. Danny's recollection sharpens, and he realizes none of this is real. They're still inside a Division illusion meant to trick him into revealing Minnie's location. In a blink, the scene changes, and he's inside the Division's base. His supposed life as a cop, the therapy sessions, the bank heist, all fabricated scenarios. Every person he's encountered, Diana, Nix, Vivian, River, even the therapist, are Division operatives playing roles. For 4 years, they've tried to extract the information, but each time Danny catches on and breaks the illusion, he refuses again, bolts outside, and finds the elaborate sets built to maintain the ruse. Agents surround and tase him unconscious. When he wakes in a lab, Diana insists her feelings were real, but Danny calls her a liar. The team hooks him up to a machine, wiping his memory so he can only answer, "I don't know." He wakes thinking he's back in therapy, the scenario repeating word for word. But this time, when he enters the elevator and checks his phone, he sees Diana's true face in the photos. His mental block has held. Pretending to play along, he rides to the bank set with Nix. While the Division watches for him to enter, Danny vanishes. He hijacks a van, smashing through the fake sets and scattering operatives. Over the radio, Diana tries to influence him through the base's speaker system, but his block shields him. In the chaos, Nix finds Danny's notebook and discovers he's decoded the phrase on the photo. Find Lev Delrain is an anagram for Deer Valley Lane, Minnie's hiding place. Several hours later, Danny arrives at Deer Valley and is greeted by Carl and Thelma, both armed and cautious. Once they confirm that his memories have returned, they welcome him inside. There, Danny is reunited with Minnie, now older, who is quietly playing with dominoes. Father and daughter embrace warmly, but Minnie quickly announces that her mother has arrived. At the same time, Division helicopters close in. A database check reveals the Deer Valley property belongs to Carl and Thelma, who are actually Danny's foster parents. As the helicopters land, Carl and Thelma fire a warning shot and greet Diana like an old acquaintance, though she doesn't recognize them. When they refuse to cooperate, Delrain orders his team to open fire, leaving Diana rushing to their side, desperate for answers before they die. Danny steps forward, telling Diana that the woman he loves would never want this kind of life for their child. Minnie then runs to her mother, praising her for coming home. Confused, Diana listens as Minnie explains that everything happening is part of a carefully laid plan to break free from the Division. Realizing something is wrong, Delrain panics and opens fire on the house, destabilizing the illusion. Minnie seizes the opportunity to control Nix, forcing him to take out the other agents, while Danny mentally overwhelms the few still resisting. The false environment collapses, revealing they're actually on a stage set in the hills. Carl and Thelma are alive, quickly eliminating the remaining enemy. Minnie then uses her abilities to restore her mother's true memories. Diana sees herself tied to a chair, while a man in a red mask wipes her mind, ignoring her cries for help. Regaining clarity, Diana faces Delrain, who is moments away from shooting her, only for Minnie to turn his will against him. Danny explains the truth. From birth, they knew Minnie's abilities were extraordinary and dangerous in the wrong hands. The Division's plans to weaponize her pushed Danny and Diana to orchestrate an escape. Minnie was hidden with her grandparents to train in secret, while both parents erased their own memories for safety. Danny left himself a cryptic photo clue, wore the red mask to alter Diana's loyalties, and trusted that one day she'd lead them back here to finish the fight. With the Division finally destroyed, the family embraces, savoring their freedom. They depart in a helicopter with Thelma, leaving Carl to clean up. But as they fly away, the grim twist emerges. Delrain never died. He had been posing as Carl all along, ready to disappear and begin a new scheme to capture Minnie.